Welcome back, guys. It's been several months since I posted my last video. My last video was about me preparing for my trip to Japan for the first time in a decade. Well, that trip of course happened and it was amazing. It was just before the New Year's. I departed on the first Christmas Day. I arrived in Japan on the second Christmas Day, and I left on the New Year's Day, or actually December the 31st, which is the last day of the old year. It was great. I stayed in Japan 5 nights, 6 days, mainly in Tokyo, and also I made a short stop at the city called Yokosuka, where one of my favorite video games took place, Shenmue, for the original Sega Dreamcast, which recently also got re-released on PS4 and Xbox One. The highlights of that trip, it's the Ghibli Museum. That was a very beautiful place to see. It was also located in an area of Tokyo where I think beside that museum not too many tourists actually set foot in. So it's very quiet, very residential. Great place to visit and great place to check out. And then, which is one of the most important parts of the visit, I visited, hang on, actually just need to grab it. I visited one of the locations where pretty much my most favorite movie of them all has been filmed. The movie called Lost in Translation. That place is Park Hyatt Hotel in Tokyo, which houses the New York Bar, which is located on one of the top floors of that building, and it's, I think, over 200 meters high. So at evening you have an amazing view of Tokyo from there. But besides that, it also has awesome live music. The atmosphere there is brilliant. I was able to smoke cigars like Bill Murray did. I sat on exactly the same place as Bill Murray did. It's really a place to visit if you're in Tokyo and if you like that movie, or if you're just a fan of Bill Murray in general. That's the place to check out. And then I did, of course, a bit of shopping. My original plan was to go to as many hard ups as I can. Well, it didn't exactly go that way. The reason is I kind of forgot how big Tokyo was. And I mean really big. And I stayed at the very center of the city. I stayed at Ginza, which is one of my favorite areas in Tokyo. And to get to several hard ups from there, it's usually around an hour 45 minutes on train, one way. And of course the Japanese, or actually the Tokyo metro system, it's a complete maze. And the good thing is, because of rental Wi-Fi routers that you can get at the airport, which I got mine prior of arriving there, I always had internet with me, If I didn't, it would have been a complete disaster because I would have lost probably on the first time I needed to change train. But because of Google Maps and because of the good internet service there, I was able to find all the hard offs I wanted, but I decided to only visit 2 of them. The first one was a great hard off. The building was great, but it was unfortunately less than no laser discs. The only thing I saw was an employee fixing up quite a high-end Panasonic laserdisc player, but I didn't see any discs, unfortunately. Then I visited a couple of days later another hard off, which was quite far away from my hotel. But it was also quite a small hard off. I was able to find a couple of laserdiscs there, but those weren't the titles that were worth picking up. Several actually of them I already had. So actually no laserdisc pickups on that trip, but hey, the good thing is, while I was in Japan, there were laserdiscs shipped to me from Japan. Because of the discs that I won on Yahoo auctions, of course. Like for example Night Watch, which is a 1999 release with Ewan McGregor. Great thriller, which also stars Nick Nolte. Yeah, that's right. Was a great experience, but overall visiting Tokyo, great experience. Let me just show you a bit of the pictures right there. I'm doing it quite raw because I hate editing. That's the Ghibli Museum. That's the rooftop of the Ghibli Museum. That's me with one of the characters from the Ghibli universe. That's absolutely amazing. Of course, I did a bit of shopping there. Prices on most things are quite reasonable. There are very expensive things, of course, there, but hey, what do you expect? Oh yeah, and this is my visit in the local area to Yodobashi. Yodobashi is a massive electronic store. It has pretty much everything that has a plug, and great thing to actually witness there, besides video games, is this. Japan, like a futuristic country and all, but boy, they do still love physical media. And these are a complete wall of Discmans, and actually quite interesting Discmans, because there are some Discmans there that have Bluetooth to connect to wireless headphones, that kind of stuff, and actually they have, let me see if I can show it to you. I think, yeah, right there in the corner. It's actually a DVD drive that connects wirelessly to tablets, so that you can actually watch your DVDs on the go on your iPad, for example. It's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. That's the area I was staying in. One of my favorites. It's in Ginza, but this one is Shiurima area, very close to each other. That's Ginza. That's the Nissan corner with many of their awesome concept stuff. And that's some pickups that I had, many Ghibli things, and of course the Famicom Mini. and a couple of actually old N64 titles and a Game Boy Advance title, which I was able to find in a local book off. Book off was actually quite interesting. That's me next to the thing I brought back from Holland, which is my favorite team, because I never leave home without it. My favorite football team, to be exact. And that's on my way to New York Bar in Shinjuku. This is actually the Tokyo Metropolitan Building. That's where the metro station was that I was getting out. And that's the building of Park Hyatt Hotel. On the very top of one of those three towers, that's where the New York Bar is. That's the entrance. You are able to see the same entrance when you are watching the movie. So it was just landing on a movie set. Absolutely brilliant. And that's the New York Bar. Oh, what is this place amazing. I absolutely adore it. So yeah, that was one of the amazing highlights. Did reasonable amount of things, because I've been to Tokyo several times before that, but it was almost a decade ago before this trip. The interesting thing is, not a lot of things have changed in Tokyo. It's gotten even, the good things stayed the same, and the things that were more tricky got polished. That's what I can say about the city. So it stayed pretty much the same, but some of the rough edges were completely removed. Absolutely brilliant. So back from Tokyo, work started again, and then I was thinking, which place I should visit next. Well, the first place that immediately came up was again go back to Tokyo, which I will next month. Everything is booked, everything is taken care of, so that's going to be fun. And actually, the most interesting thing, I will be there when President Trump is going to be there. So that means the half of the damn city will be on lockdown. Thanks for that, Orange Man. Well, on a side note, there's of course a period since January and May that I'm going back again to Japan. In that period, actually last month, I decided to take a short trip to another destination that I always wanted to visit. And I decided to make a long weekend of it. And the place I went to is Hong Kong. That's right, for as crazy as I am, I still worked on Wednesday morning. I went home early Wednesday afternoon, prepared, went to the airport in the evening, and flown via Frankfurt all the way to Hong Kong, arriving there of course the next day because of their massive hour difference. It was absolutely brilliant, and especially to check out the city, where also many of my favorite movies are shot, like for example Double Impact with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Rush Hour 2 with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. So yeah, seeing that city, also it's like arriving on a movie set. But I have to say, it's nice to visit once, but unlike Tokyo, it didn't grab me by the throat to want to go back there. The reason is, it's very simple. the city is very overcrowded. It's seriously overcrowded. To give you an example, the metropolitan area of Hong Kong, which consists of Hong Kong Island and Kowloon, which is in the mainland, that whole territory is probably the same size of a city here in Holland that is called Den Bosch. Den Bosch city is a provincial capital here in Holland, of the province called Brabant, and that city has about 150,000 people. Imagine squeezing in a city that usually has 150,000 people and is considered quite big here in Holland, to squeezing in the same size city 4.5 million people. The whole of Hong Kong consists of about 7.5 million, but in metropolitan area it's about 4.5 million. And squeezing that in such a small space, you're gonna notice it. It's overcrowded. Ridiculously overcrowded and uncomfortably overcrowded. The public transport is very full. The city is, besides except maybe the business district, is not exactly clean compared to Tokyo. Very noisy, very smelly, etc., etc. It's a bit of annoying. So that was a bit of an annoying part of it. But because it's actually not that big, it's fairly easy to move around. And also they have Wi-Fi rentals at the airport, which you can get, like mini Wi-Fi routers that are connected to the local 4G network, and then convert that 4G signal to a Wi-Fi that your phone connects to. So of course I had a complete, I always was connected to the internet while being there, and that's very useful, because if to find locations that are worth visiting, like for shopping, for things that I'm mostly interested in, like in electronics, gaming, movies, you can go to the major malls in Hong Kong, but then you're gonna realize most of those major malls are focused only on at the people who have very deep pockets or very big credit cards. The prices are stupid, are ridiculous, actually, to be exact. So to find those places where you can find things for very good competitive prices, they're tricky, and to find them you need Google Maps, and that was the only thing that saved me. So yeah, I was able to visit one of those very small hidden malls that pretty much contain kiosks of video games, Lego, that kind of stuff, and there you can find things for quite decent money. But yeah, it's hard and it's not exactly central. If you want to go to central locations, expect the prices to be stupidly high. So yeah, but yeah, what can I say about Hong Kong? The airport is amazing. That's the thing. It's huge, but it's very organized. It's very clean. And the other good thing is, especially compared to Japan, the taxi fares. Seriously, the taxi fares are great. From the airport to my hotel, it's between 45 minutes to an hour, depends on traffic, if I use the taxi. So it's it's a decent amount. If I would have taken the taxi, for example, from the airport in Tokyo to my hotel, I think I would have spent easily over 100 euros, 150 maybe, something like that. Hong Kong, converted to euros, 35. It's brilliant, and you were able to see much of the city from outside the car, which gives you great views of it. I was staying at a very nice hotel in Kowloon, very close to the former Hong Kong airport, Kai Tak, which still contains the artificial island that the runway was on, but now it's being built, like they're being for high-rise apartments, built for office buildings, that kind of stuff. It's being built there. There are some of very famous movie locations in Hong Kong, and I visited one of them, and I was very happy to be able to check it out. Let me show it to you. Actually, it's almost actually two locations. One location I visited is, of course, you cannot not visit this place if you're in Hong Kong. It's the Bruce Lee statue. It's absolutely amazing to being there, right on the shore, overlooking the Hong Kong island. That was pretty cool. That's me holding my family picture. And that's the other location. There's going to be a picture that is closer. This one is, of course, like I'm holding, The Man with the Golden Gun, a Roger Moore James Bond movie. And right behind me is the Peninsula Hotel, the amazing hotel where parts of the movie were shot, especially the outside. Remember this scene? That's right. In the movie of the Man with the Golden Gun is, of course, the older rollers, but the new ones there have exactly the same color. So that's really cool to witness. So yeah, long week in Hong Kong. I departed on Wednesday, arrived on Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or 3 full days, and then I departed Sunday night, for arriving back home on a Sunday, somewhere in the afternoon. So that was crazy, but it was a nice experience. For visiting Hong Kong once, yeah, absolutely, I would definitely advise it. And maybe you're gonna like it more than me, but I prefer a lot less crowd, like there is in Hong Kong. And yeah, so this was with me in Hong Kong, in my backpack, so I could take some nice pictures to remember with it. And yeah, before going to Japan, I'm still, not massively, but on occasion, import discs from it, using, of course, the good old proxy services that are connected to Yahoo Auctions. And the most recent arrival, one of my most favorite movies, and actually a very good Steve Jobs movie, Pirates of Silicon Valley, which is a combination of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates' biography. Awesome flick. The reason I imported it from Japan is because it pretty much didn't had a real release here in Europe. I think only Spain got a release of it, but I'm not very interested to having a Spanish cover, so I prefer the Japanese then. Awesome movie. If you haven't seen it, I really advise only watching this movie. The 2 movies that were made after the death of Steve Jobs, they're just cash grabs by the studios, nothing more. this is the movie. And actually, Steve Jobs made a prank with the actor who played him. They both were on stage on one of his keynotes. That's a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that Steve Jobs actually approved of this one, because he of course couldn't approve of the other two that were made after his death. This is the only one I consider a real Steve Jobs movie. So yeah, that's the things I've been doing. One last thing I've been doing, actually that I already did. The actor slash singer David Duchovny, the main star of X-Files. He was performing, let's see, yeah, it was at the end of February or the beginning of March, one of those two. He was here in Holland, actually not far away from here. He was performing in a neighboring city. So I bought a ticket to his concert. I bought a special one, the one so I would be able to get a meet and greet with him. And I did meet with him. It was a great experience. Awesome guy. And of course I could not resist to take the following thing with me to get signed. The X-Files box set, the Laserdisc box set from Japan. It's signed by David Duchovny. Absolutely awesome experience. This one is not going anywhere, except maybe going to be framed very soon. So yeah, those are the things that I've been doing, and I hope I will be able to make a couple of videos while in Japan and maybe post them from Japan. I wanted to do that the last time, but I think I was overexcited and actually, after running around the city, quite tired at the end of the day to do some YouTube stuff. So yeah, for now, thank you for watching. Until the next time.